Fort Lauderdale area. We are on our way to the airport, and it has been a wonderful holiday with Sid and Gary and their family, and there was so much open conversation, and I love the way Sid openly speak with her kids. And we had this chat while we were on our last video. So here we are just going to continue a little bit on parenting. So Sid,
yes,
you were talking about your mother, the way she brought you all up.
Yes, so as I was saying to you earlier, we were raised in the children are seen, not heard era. But my mom always had a problem with that. My mom was born in 1937.
It's a long time ago.
Long time ago.
She was in the era when children kept quiet and only parents in control.
And she always hated that.
Okay.
She said children were little adults and they were to be acknowledged as such. And you have conversations with them at their level to help them understand in the form of building blocks throughout the stages of their life. And you speak to them at the 3-year-old level, the 10-year-old level, the 15-year-old level, and so forth. And she always hated when somebody would say, give an instruction and say, do that. And if I asked very honestly, sincerely, can you tell me why? Don't answer back, just do what I say because I said so. So she would always get so annoyed at that, and she would pull me off and she would say, come, let me tell you why.
Very good.
And so through my mom, I learned to have a very well balanced way of looking at life. And I believe I matured through life much more quickly than my average peer adolescent or peer young person, because she gave me a view. I remember, and this is a private little topic, so girls, when they get to an age, they start to experience changes.
Yes.
Right? And one change was when we had our, what do you call that thing, Louise? Monthly.
That was a taboo word, eh?
Yes, and I was playing netball on the field when mine came for the first time, and a boy on the field observed that my skirt had blood on it, and he came up to me and whispered in my ear, you need to go to the nurse. I said, why? He said, because you have something on your skirt. You wouldn't even tell me.
Yes.
So I looked down and I saw, and I went, So I went to Nurse Allen, and she said to me, oh, your monthly came. And I said, what's that? And she said,
no idea.
No idea.
And how old were you?
12. And she said, okay, it's time for your mommy to explain it to you. So she fixed me up in the nurse's room, and I went home from school that day, and I was anxious to go home and just tell mommy what was happening. And I walked in and I said, mommy, I have something to tell you. She said, what's that? I said, well, Nurse Allen told me that my monthly came. What is that? And she said, okay, I finished preparing dinner and we're gonna go talk. And after dinner, she pulled me into the room and we sat, and she said,
interesting.
I was waiting for this moment to come, so that I could tell you about the birds and the bees. And she said, you ever heard about the birds and the bees? I said, no, ma, what is that? And she said, well, the birds and the bees. Birds and bees come together with their male and female counterparts and create children. She said, you always reading these little storybooks that I read to you about the stork coming with a baby? She said, it's not the stork. And she would just tell you, listen, I don't want you to go and get yourself romantically involved with a boy, because when you get romantically involved with a boy and feelings start to develop, and next thing you know, he's going to want to have
intimate relationship
with you, you could have a baby out of wedlock. That's where babies come from. And so I said, oh, thank you, Mom.
Yeah, she give it to you. Good facts of life.
That set me on a path.
Well said. That continue, of course.
Yes.
Hold your point.
Yes.
When that happened to me, I was almost 15. My mother was already dead.
Wow.
And my sister, who was like a mother, she was very young herself. She might have been not even 23 or 24. And when I told her, it happened at school too. And when I told her, she said, okay, she told you how to fix yourself and so. And then she said, don't let any boy touch you because you'll get pregnant.
Okay, good. Same thing. But
so you felt, no, if a boy only touch you.
Right. But that was good for me because it put me on guard and it kept me from doing something I know I shouldn't do. Don't get pregnant. That's all my mother needed to say.
Yes.
But for somebody to come to you and say, don't do that because I said so. You have to speak about the ramification of an action. Every action has a consequence. Good, there are good consequences and there are bad consequences. So my mom taught me things happen. So it's like cause and effect, right?
Yes.
I wonder what would happen if I do this.
Keep left onto.
But if you are not told what will happen when you do this and you go and make a mistake, you are the one living with it. So for as much as parents in that age or in that era try to do right by their kids, one of the things where I thought that they missed opportunity was to appropriately let their kids know so that they could be well guarded against things they know they should be staying away from.
Yes, of course. Yeah. She was a wise woman.
Very wise. She was. I always said she was ahead of her time. Ahead of her time.
Keep left onto 995.
Well, you know, there is a saying, show me, seeing you I can tell who was your mother. I don't know if I have it correct.
Yes.
You know that saying?
Yes, I know that saying.
Yeah, so when you see a very grounded, balanced, well-rounded adult child, you know that she had a good mother.
And I'll tell you this, my mom told us this: whatever is going on out there on the street, I need you to come home and tell me what you're seeing so I can be the first person to tell you what that is.
Right.
And that is exactly how I raised my kids. I never volunteered information to them. But when they would see anything happening at school, they would come home and ask, Mom, this happened today, what is that? And we would talk it through.
Yeah. You need to have that kind of rapport with your kids now. More so because of all what's happening at school.
Yes.
That's where they're going to pick up their information from.
Yep. So true.
So, well, as I think I mentioned before, for myself, we talk to our kids, but not about things like that, you know?
Right.
You know, you had open relationship and you talk and laugh and you know that they can trust you.
Mm-hmm.
But they never came to you and asked you these things, and therefore you never really thought there is a problem or anything.
Right.
They didn't depict from their style that they are troubled over something, you know.
Right. Now, there were some topics that was off limits, but not many. You know, my mom focused more on speaking the truth, explaining your feelings, even when you're confused with those feelings, you know.
In 1 mile, toll.
I remember one time a guy at school said to me, hey, I like you. And I said, what that mean? And he go, I like you. I want to take you out for a lunch or see if I can have your parents to take you out on a Saturday from school.
How old were you?
I was, what, 15?
What? You get a date early,
I
yeah?
was 15. I didn't go.
You were already in America?
No. That was the year before I came to America.
Okay.
And I went home and I said to Mom, Mommy, this guy asked me to, can I go and hang out with him at the plaza on Saturday? She said, oh no, you're not going nowhere.
Also she
But I would say, why? She said, because I have an instinct. I remember I tell you about the birds and the bees? She said, that's what I'm saving you from. And that's all she needed to say. She didn't have to go into any great detail. It's because she did the detail before, and I'm now getting to understand. Okay, just be careful how you approach relationships. Ooh, you see that smoking on the trailer? Almost ran into the back of that car.
Okay, because
He was braking real hard.
Okay. This trailer, see it? The smoking.
Smell it? You smell it? Yes. So my mom was very open to a great extent, but like I said, there were some topics she would say only life can teach you that lesson.
Right, of course. Experience.
Yes.
Experience.
8 miles. Keep
But she
left
will
onto
protect you from the
I-95
experience as long as she
For as
can.
much as she could, yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's a responsibility of a parent, really. Yeah.
That
You
is the
don't throw
responsibility.
your children to the wolves out there.
No.
You have
You
to
can't
guide them.
overprotect and you cannot underprotect.
Exactly.
You have to find the right balance.
And that is what life is all about,
Mhm.
having a balance and just doing things moderately and having a balance, a fine balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we seem to be getting into some traffic jam now
Yes, and we're about to head on to 95 South. We're not too far now.
from the airport.
No, it is now 12:08 p.m. and it's the GPS is saying we should be there by 12:27.
Oh, God. All in order.
All in order.
All in order. Yes, man. Yes, so what can we hear from a younger mother in the back there? Mommy?
Sure.
A mother of a 12-year-old and a little 3-year-old. What would you have to say as a form of advice to young mothers like yourself?
Don't be afraid to be open with your children.
You want to say it a little louder?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to be open with your children. Like Sinani was saying, we can't shield them from everything in this world, but we can prepare them for it. I think in raising a 12-year-old boy, I was always very aware of the things that I didn't get to discuss as a child because my parents were never open about the true things of life. They thought not speaking about it may be a better option versus sharing and having us included before it becomes this big question or balloon, so I made sure to be open with my son, to letting him know that emotions are valid, questions should be asked, and it's okay to sit at the dining table and ask those questions even if you feel uncomfortable, because the truth is that's when they're listening most, not
Yes.
when they're in trouble, not when they've already done wrong, or they see it out there and they don't ask the question. But when you're sitting at the table and the question comes up, that's them
Keep
giving you
left
an
onto
open
I-95 south.
platform to communicate and to let them see that communication is normal between a younger child and their parent. So
That's a vital point you've said there, because in some of our previous videos we talk about the importance of sitting as a family and having a meal. Now in family life, everyone is so busy that months can go by before a family sit together and eat. and we have been talking about is while you're dining at the table, very good conversation comes about.
Right.
And that's where you can see what's happening with your children, because an elderly mother told me once, she says, I always knew when something is wrong when one of my children refused to come to the dining table. Oh, I'm busy, I don't think I will come, I will have lunch later. And she said, I would insist that, listen, we are going to dine as a family, because Monday to Friday it's busy time, weekend is family time.
Yes, and to add to what Corinne and you're saying, Louise, is parents should never be afraid to show all of themselves to their children.
Yes.
They should never be afraid to show them their strengths, their weaknesses, their vulnerabilities. Because in the era of my mother, it was always this facade of parents on the outward appearance looking at them as perfect, when on the inside they're the most perfectly imperfect human beings.
That is so true, said. Because many times it's the first time for you
Exactly.
as a parent.
Exactly. And even if it's the 10th time for you, every child is different
Well
and
said.
takes a new approach to raising.
That is true.
It's not a cookie cutter approach. And so my mom used to say to me, you ever see a whole wave of emotions rolled up into one person? She used to say, I could smile at you, smile with you, and in the next breath grab you by your throat and want to slap you silly because you just did something foolish in front of me. She said, that's me.
Yes.
I will love you, I will protect you, I will defend you, I will discipline you, I will comfort you. All of that comes out of one person. That's what she said. And that's how I raise my children.
Very good, very good. And I'm sure they will pass that on to their own family.
And I'm sure some things I did was not perfect, but at least I got them to learn how to be open.
Yeah. Well, thank you so very much for sharing your experience as a younger mother. And thank you, Kiran, for your birthday. It's wonderful to hear from a young person with a 12-year-old son. And in today's world, how you are about things, and being open and communicating with a child is very necessary now, because there's so much peer pressure out there in school. As I say, in our time, it wasn't such a challenge as it is now.
No.
So, and above all, God being at the head and guiding and leading us,
Exactly.
and family together. And it is good to hear what others have to say. Not that you're going to take everything that this is how I have to do it,
That's right.
but you draw from what others say and you work it to suit. You tailor make it for yourself and for your family. Yeah.
That's right.
And well, we are nearing the airport now, Sid.
Yes, we are 4.4 miles away from our exit to get to the airport. Then after that, it's 2 miles and we're there. So total of 6 miles.
So thank you for taking time while you're driving on this busy road to still be able to share with us your experience of parenting and your mom's experience. And thanks again for everything.